everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are having a fantastic weekend. Look, I have a sunflower that is finally out, which is great news because the hollyhock has basically given up for the year. And this is a volunteer hollyhock, so I'm very pleased that it has provided flowers for so long and helped keep the bees happy while we've waited for the sunflower to come out. But we have so many heads on this. I think I counted like 20 the other day when I was on the phone to my mum, which is wonderful, but it also means we're going to have sunflowers right up until the end of the summer, which will be lovely. It has been an interesting week. I have been away on a press launch and we've not had great weather. It's been kind of wet and then it's been warm and then it's been wet. It's very humid right now. And by the time you watch this, we would have had 4 or 5 days worth of rain. Unfortunately, my Alberta conifers have died. And I'm very upset about that because these are doing great. And then about 3 weeks ago, they started to suddenly shed. And I think they're done. I don't think they survived the heat, which is a shame because Alberta conifers are supposed to deal with the heat. But look at my broccoli. My broccoli has finally stopped trying to bolt and is finally producing heads, which is great. I just hope that the deer don't come along and help themselves. Meanwhile, over here, the last of my potatoes, they're growing. They're still growing, but I have had some potatoes from here, but I need to do some harvesting of those later on today because, well, they're pretty much done. I actually harvested the big marrow or courgette zucchini that was hanging around because I had been away and I was hoping that by the time I came back, it would be ready to eat. And it's ready to eat. I'm going to have it tonight. We're going to make something called mock duck, which is normally done with meat. Meat, carrots and onions stuffed inside a marrow. But I'm going to do it tonight with Impossible Burger meat. So does that mean it's a mock duck because it's not actually real meat? Tell me in the comments below because I'm very curious. So look at these wonderful apples. They are coming along ever so nicely. They are ready. We have bugs in there. Come on, out you go. The earwig is ready to go. There's some more here. These apples are ready to be harvested. They're just coming straight off the tree. And some of the apples have already started to fall on the ground. Those are probably a lost cause. We've got some here that have got rust and people living in them. So I think we've lost some of these apples. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, that one's got holes in because people have helped themselves. But this does mean we have a problem over here because if I wander in this direction, you'll see how dry the ground is. We've had so many apples falling and I need to come out here and scrump the apples, pick up the ones that have fallen, that are wind fallen. You've got some bruising here on these and that's not going to help anybody. But I'm hoping that we can pick some of the apples that are higher up on the tree and we'll probably try and do that this weekend. If it does stop raining, we will do that because we've got so many apples that are still on the tree. And that means lots and lots of apple butter and all sorts of other wonderful things. But we've just been so busy. I mean, you just saw me pick these two. We've just been so busy that we haven't been able to pick the apples. My wife has been on a project that actually just finished today. I've been away making content for the channel and for Everything Electric. And it feels like we're a little bit behind, which is a shame. It really is. Later on today, I'll come out and I'll harvest some potatoes and some parsnips so that we can have our mock duck with some roast potatoes and roast parsnips. And you look, these guys are still growing incredibly well and they will continue to grow right through to the end of the season. Parsnips have some of the longest growing seasons of any vegetable that you're going to grow. And there's a bit of an old wives' tale, I think, that says that they taste better after the first frost. And I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll have to give it a go. The other thing that has been in so much abundance this year are our blackberry bushes. You know that we chose to allow these blackberry bushes to grow because we like blackberries. They grow very quickly. They can be quite invasive. You have to keep them in check. Last weekend, I actually made my second batch of blackberry jam, and I did blackberry and apples. And it was very tasty just before I headed off to my launch event. If you're wondering how the rest of the zucchinis are doing, look, we've got a lovely big zucchini courgette in there, one there. So there's two there. The chickens aren't allowed out because they will destroy them. They've been helping themselves. Hello, Ashley. How are you doing, baby? I don't have any strawberries for you, but there might be some strawberries over in the strawberry patch. There are some strawberries in the strawberry patch. Would you like one? Do I need to pay the chicken tax? Let's have a look down here. Strawberries are going ripe incredibly quickly right now. I think it's partly because of the weather. This one is not quite right up on the bottom, but let's see. What do we think? Do you want it? You don't want it? Here you go. Chuk chuk. There we are. She says no. She wants something else. We've had the raspberries starting to produce their final fruit of the season, and then I'm going to have to really cut them back because they've really overgrown. I need to rescue the herbs so they're ready for the winter. Over here, some interesting things have been happening. More and more pumpkins than you can shake a stick at. We finally have some sweet corn growing in this particular plot, which is lovely. And we also have some French beans coming at last. Let me show you over here. So this is the first year I've ever tried doing this, but as you can see, it was a success. We have French beans growing alongside the sweet corn. They are still producing flowers. And look, beans on a corn. It's worked amazingly well. It's also been wonderful to see the pumpkins and the zucchinis all work together with the beans and the corn to produce this vibrant, relatively weed-free growing space. You see down there that the ground is nice and moist. We've got a courgette growing down there right now. It's just perfect. The Native Americans who developed this, the tribal people who developed this, were very, very, very intelligent, and we have so much to learn from their growing practices. But these French beans are going to be great. I'm going to enjoy eating those. We still haven't really had much in the way of peas, although if you look down here, we do have some peas that are now sort of coming into flower and producing. I have had a couple of occasional peas from this, but I haven't really had much success with them because they were so late going in. We've got more corn coming, but as with previous corn cobs, they're not filling out particularly well. I just don't think we have good corn growing weather up here. This one's got more in it, so I'm going to leave this one and hope it's still got some still got some healthy tassels on. So hopefully we'll have some more corn there. But then if we come round here, we've got something else really exciting to show. We have a watermelon, an actual, factual, honest to goodness watermelon growing right there in the Pacific Northwest. Yes, it's tiny, but it's a watermelon. It's a watermelon growing in the Pacific Northwest. That's amazing. We also have our sprouts doing incredibly well. They are coming, and I haven't seen any evidence yet of whitefly coming in. So let's go into the greenhouse and we'll finish off there. I haven't talked much about my greenhouse. Specifically, these guys. These are box hedge cuttings that I took about 4 weeks ago, and they're starting to root and they're doing incredibly well because people keep driving over my driveway and killing my box hedge. So my mum was like, you could just make some fresh cuttings. And so that's what I did, and everything is going well. As you can see, the tomatoes have kind of given up on being supported, but we do have some fruit coming here. Look, lovely red tomato here. There's more red tomatoes down here. The chickens are not allowed anywhere near here right now because they are helping themselves to the tomatoes, and that's not good. So plenty of tomatoes, plenty of cucumbers, plenty of pickling cucumbers. Check out my sauce tomatoes back there. None of them, I don't think yet, have started to turn red, but we're going to have a bunch of red tomato pasta sauce to make when these are finally ready. I bought some pickling supplies this week so I can start pickling cucumbers. Unfortunately, all of my dill died off this summer, so I don't have any of my own dill. And I have to use dry dill because there wasn't any fresh dill. But look at this. Lovely, red, healthy, beautiful tomatoes. This tomato here, that looks like it is a heritage tomato variety. That one will be a Brandywine tomato. They are wonderful. That's a spider. We'll leave the spider here. Those Brandywine tomatoes are incredible. They taste amazing. And by the way, if you do grow your own tomatoes, don't put them in the fridge. Cut them off, eat them, and leave the other ones on the vine to ripen. You get so much nicer flavour. The cooling of the tomatoes does actually change the structure of the fruit slightly. I'm going to pluck this one, even though it's not 100% ripe, because I've got some cooking to do later that I can use this in if it wants to come off. And I'm going to maybe see if there are any more down here. It's getting a bit thick back here, so I'm going to have to cut back some of my tomatoes, I think, to try and get through some of this moving forwards. But everything is looking great. Tomatoes are doing incredibly well. And even if they are encroaching a little bit into the walkway, I think probably in about 3 or 4 weeks' time, we're going to have to come in here and start cutting everything back, and that will be sad because it's just been so wonderful to see all the growth. We have some peppers still. The peppers are not growing particularly quickly, but I don't know if you look in there, you can actually now see there are some pepper flowers coming. One there, there's one back there. Next year, I think next year I need to have fewer cucumbers. I think I need to make a commitment to have fewer cucumbers. I've had too many this year, and I have not been able to keep up, which is why I am now going to be pickling some at the weekend. Pickling cucumbers is really easy. You just need to have enough jars to hold them all. And if you are a local mutual friend and you would like some cucumbers or some tomatoes, let me know, because I have too many. And even out here, look, this is one of the volunteer tomato plants I put outside. We do now have some green tomatoes, which means in not too long a time, we will have even more tomatoes. Basically, I planted too many. So there we are. My hair's a mess and I've got too much in the way of fruit and veg. So tell me what's going on in your garden, and I will see you next week for the final chicken and garden update before we head off to Canada, eh? Thanks for joining me today, and if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them below in our Discord chat room, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on your screen right now. They are some of more than the 1,500 people who help fund this channel through Patreon and YouTube, covering our bills, paying our team, and making sure that we can remain 100% independent. And if you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the links below. There are a range of different tiers you can sign up for, from as little as $1 a month, or if you pay yearly, just under $11 a year. A huge welcome to our newest supporters: Olke Ward, John Le Pouvard, World's Tallest Hobbit, John Hendricks, John Franks, Bill Lascelle, Bill Warren, Brian Curry, Amory Wong, Chris Foon, Stephen Tidy, Christian H, Mike Cooper, Casey Chapin, James Carter, Sam Yates, Kai Preshaw, Michael Ball, John Dunlop, Christian Ramusen, Matt Bullock, Karen and Jude, Mike Whirl, and Daniel. To join the list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your moment of fame. If you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations, and we even have an old-fashioned PO box you can reach us at. Address also below. And if you're in need of some swag, you'll find our swag store in the down below too. This month we've got a new special t-shirt just for our trip to Everything Electric in Canada next month. There's still just enough time to buy one before the event, and if you wear it to the show, you might get a special something from us. We've got some great content coming up, so make sure you're subscribed on PeerTube or YouTube, and we'll see you soon. We make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want more, the mighty algorithm thinks you'll like this video, but we think that this one is also well worth a look. See you soon, and as always, keep evolving!